It's your voice, your vote. The race to become the next mayor of the city of South Bend continues to heat up. And as you know, we're inviting all of the candidates to our ABC 57 studios to help you become an informed voter. Today, we have James Mueller with us to discuss his platform on various topics. James, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here so early with us. Let's start with the relationship between you and the current mayor, Mayor Pete Buttigieg. You two attended high school together. You attended Notre Dame, and then you joined his administration just a couple of years ago in 2015. Can you talk about the conversation and what that was like between the two of you when you decided to run for mayor?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, first there was the conversation for me to move home and become his chief of staff, and then ultimately moved over to become his executive director of community investment. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve with him over the last 3.5 years, and been working with him to shape the vision for the city. And with him deciding to move on, there were a lot of conversations was how do we keep this momentum going? How do we keep building on our progress? And so ultimately, running for an office has to be the choice of the individual, because it's a lot for sure. But you know, I was pleased to get his endorsement early on because it's an honor and a privilege both personally and professionally, because I know him as a friend from high school, and also having worked alongside him for the last 3.5 years, to have the confidence in me to keep moving the vision forward. And so, you know, lots of discussions about how do we move the city forward, and that's ultimately where we came up with.
Let's talk about some of those topics that are going to be big for the voters here come 2020 in the city of South Bend. And one of those key issues will be the South Shore line. Now, being part of the administration now with Mayor Pete Buttigieg, are your views of the South Shore line intact with his views? Do you move it to South Bend? Do you keep that momentum going forward?
Sure. I mean, train stations are meant to connect downtowns to downtowns. In fact, the South Shore line used to be downtown in South Bend. And so you can imagine the reverse. If the train station to Chicago wasn't downtown, it wouldn't be quite as appealing. But it's an enormous cost, $100 million, and we need to make sure that you know, this is the right time and the right way to get the financing for that. So right now we're trying to get better cost estimates that should be out later this summer to know for sure what the price tag is, and then we got to figure out how to pay for it. This wouldn't be, you know, the majority of it can't be from local dollars. So if we could get federal and state funding, it's a compelling vision. And so I think ultimately we want to get to a place where in 2030 or so, you have a vibrant downtown, you have vibrant neighborhoods, commercial corridors across the city, and at that point, downtown station could definitely be a part of that.
And crime, obviously, we've discussed with Mayor Pete Buttigieg many times on our program here on ABC 57 News. Can you talk about what your vision would be for crime moving forward, how to lower some of those numbers, and how to enhance those community relationships with the police department?
Right. Yeah. I mean, so first off, I don't know if this has been as widely publicized, but you know, it's difficult to recruit police officers these days. The number of sworn officers had dipped down, but now we've come back up. I was proud to work as chief of staff to get the 4-year contract with the FOP, and that really helped bring the numbers back up with their compensation package. So first of all, you got to have the people to be able to implement any strategy. So now that we have we're getting back to the levels where we need to be. We can implement, you know, our group violence intervention strategy. We can also make sure that we're doing more community policing and building those relationships. So there is that trust between the police force and the community. And the group violence intervention specifically has a very simple message. We will help you if you let us. We will stop you if you make us. So our first choice is to make sure our community is moving forward and has opportunities to thrive. But we can't tolerate violence in our city, and we will stop, you know, we will stop those folks who are engaging in those activities.
Mayor Pete has your vote. Why should you have the people of South Bend's vote?
Sure. I've been working alongside with Mayor Pete for the last 3.5 years, helped shaping the vision. I believe the city's on a roll, and we can't stop now. And we have a proven track record of results that we want to continue moving the city forward.
James Mueller, thank you so much for joining us this morning. The mayoral candidate running for the city of South Bend coming up in 2020.